Peace, family. This is your boy Gerald. It is the 16th of July, 2020. How is everybody doing? You'll probably see this when you do in the intended time a moment because it is approximately 9:25 in the evening, Hawaii Standard Time. So for those on the East Coast, it is almost 3:30 in the morning. So unless you're working on the night shift or out and about, I hope this finds you well. I hope it finds you safe. But family, as I've started to put videos out, and as you see, I titled this the Quarantine Chronicles because this is day number 10. I've got 4 more to go, and I'm well. And the one beautiful thing about this experience, it is forcing me to rest and recoup and allow myself to be replenished, mind, body, and spirit. Got my little Jolly Ranchers, and I'm gonna try to speak a little clearer. In fact, I'm gonna move this up a little closer, and my little glass of water right next to me. But I had an epiphany, family. I had an epiphany hit me about 2 hours ago as I am enjoying the confounds of my suite here. All this has been a blessing on how everything has been playing out because next week I start a new chapter. But as I rest and recoup and allow my mind to decompress, it is the things that for myself that I had not tackled or addressed, because I am no different than you, that required urgency, and as anything of importance, it will resonate to the top. No matter how we navigate our day and we compartmentalize by basing what is time sensitive or what is based off of priority, we tend to compress the things and add time and add time to what needs to be addressed at the particular moment. I'm gonna throw this disclaimer out here real quick. 2 up. Number 1, you may be hearing some media in the background. Excuse me. Health, I'm good. But first and foremost, all media that you may hear through the speakers, because I saw the last couple of videos and how sensitive the speakers are on this laptop. It picks it up. It picks up distinct. It does what it does. And you had flare-ups and plateaus. And I thought that was very amazing because I was like, well, Nobody's messing with the volume. Why is it doing that? But certain things had a way to cut through the air. So with that, out of respect, all media that may be heard on this stream has been protected under the Fair Use Act. All sole proprietorship is entitled to the artist, label, and distributor of said media and content. I have no benefit in artistry that is disseminated through this video stream as protected and prescribed by the Fair Use Act. Now, with that being said, so as I'm relaxing, because next week a new chapter starts for real, officially on Monday. The shackles of social responsibility are broken, and I get to step out into the world, and then it really starts for us. But as I'm gearing up for that to happen, I had a lot of things cross my mind. And, I would be remiss not to ask you this. And I'm only talking to you. Since March 16th of 2020, because March 17th, it was officially identified that we were going to embrace this pandemic. I want to ask you this. Since it was introduced officially and you had to adjust your life and everything playing out economically, indirectly, to have a direct effect on your life, what has changed? And I'll do you one better. Now, the tenacity that you have to make a way when there is no way has your timeline been enhanced with those who have access to it, or has it strained? Because, excuse me, it should have been an eye opener for a lot of y'all when we had to go through the first shutdown, who you heard from, who was checking for you, and as well as the energy that you bestowed to those that had influence and significance to your life. Did you notice the consistency in the communication, that the consistency in the communication as well as the energy that was being given freely based off of what was reciprocated? I say this for a couple reasons. Because there's a lot of people walking around in denial, and those people that are in denial have not acknowledged what they're what they're feeling, and have taken on a role of deflection. And it's not out of protecting your ego, but it is to protect your perception of how your life and the things in it. So, with that being said, when are you going to stop beating yourself up and making excuses for the lack that you're receiving? Because some of y'all are walking around rattling your brain Some of y'all have gotten to the point that you have compulsive behaviors because of how you're being treated, to a point that there is the effects of manic behavior as a result. Prime example, look at what's been playing out these last 4 months socially. Look at our community, so splintered. And if you look at the behavior that has been exhibited, the outbursts that have been derived in a cause and effect position, it kind of reminds you of a child having a tantrum, doesn't it? But still in the same dynamic, there's no accountability, so therefore you can't expect change. So now, as I mentioned to you before, it's just a matter of time, family. They're going to start throttling back your communities. So, with that being said, this is your cue to start looking at the things that you need, and you might want to go ahead and pick up pick up a couple things ahead of time before they start beating the gong in a town near you, city near you, state near you, worldwide of, hey guys, we got to put you guys on ice for now because we've got to worry about leveling out the virus. But what's sad is you got so many people walking around that are clinically depressed. You got so many people walking around that are playing the martyr too. And the sad thing about it is, in the midst of it all, you have opportunists waiting to run your life amok if you let them. We all can agree that the world's not perfect, family. It's not. But what I can tell you, the moment that you decide to have a spiritual relationship, it will take the sting off of what is being shown, and it will give you some balance and peace. You realize how many people go to sleep, but they don't sleep? So what do you mean they go to sleep? No, I'm saying they lay down, but they don't rest because they can't turn their brain off. It's like it's stuck in one gear. And all you want to do is get off that emotional treadmill. You just want to stop and get grounded. But you've got so many distractions going on and you're juggling, trying to keep everything afloat. But a lot of you, you're in situations, you're in relationships, which some of those things that you're trying to juggle should be supported. Who am I talking to? And deep down inside, you're feeling frustrated now. And your patience has gotten short now. Your temperament is being challenged. So what's next? You're on the verge of having a nervous breakdown? Who am I talking to? Or what may be required all along is you to have the courage to acknowledge what you see compared to what is missing. And I'm saying that, family, because this is no different. This is no different. It's the same as dealing with a soul tie compared to a soul mate. A soulmate can be analogized as the person that wants you to win. They don't want no harm of you. They want you to have the best life ever, even if they can't be in it. But the soul tie, their whole agenda is to be the experience, even if it kills you. And guess what? They won't take accountability for it. They'll just move on. It's just like turning on a utility and utilizing it until they shut it off. Your life is priceless, family. Always was, always will be. But until you're able to see that truthfully from within, change can't come. Maybe whatever that paramount priority is, the distraction standing in the way of your true happiness. May it be a relationship with yourself, starting from within, to the sub relationships that you have outside. Now, I'm saying all this because the hardest thing as human beings to deal with or understand is relationships. That's why it's so imperative to know who you are. Because until you can authentically understand who you are, how can you understand what your lack is or your weaknesses? You got mommy, got my little Jolly Ranchers. But, you know, I've come to understand in my life that sometimes you have to protect your interests from those who have access to your life. Because maybe, just maybe, they already knew the potential the moment you recognized it, and hoping that you wouldn't discover that about yourself, which is your inner power. So that's why I ask each and every one of you, why are you beating yourself up or taking on the responsibility that is not yours? Yes, it is normal for people to strive that want to see the best of their environment and the people in it. But guess what? We have no control on what someone else chooses to do. But we do have a choice on how we react. So what do you do when you have someone in that dynamic that truthfully does not know who they are? So that the said behavior that is being offered or exhibited, how can you expect them to change it if they don't know who they are? That's why it's so important, family, to be authentic. That's why it was written the way it was. Be true to thyself. But 50% of the people that walk on this planet don't know who their name is. They don't know who they are. So they don't know who they are. How they know? How can you expect them to understand what their purpose is? Let alone have an understanding of where they're going. You wasn't brought on this planet to be the martyr. You wasn't supposed. You wasn't brought on this planet to play the victim either. Don't you understand what I'm saying, family? Your foundation is the key to your direction and the people that are going to support it. But we live in a microcosm where there's so much frustration. And on the other side of that frustration is non accountability. It's easier for me not to own what I said and done to play the victim and possibly have a scapegoat than being able to stand on it and allow myself to possibly make change of the scenario entirely. But I've come to learn, family, you got people that will attempt to have access to your life. And as long as they can, they will not give you authenticity. And they will rather see you miserable too. That's why they keep bringing the drama to your door. But when it comes to wanting to have a tangible conversation, they ain't got time for that. Stop chasing, family. Stop chasing after those people. Get the hell out of their way. Because until you get out of their way, how can you know what way you're supposed to be going? Let alone the energy and investment that will not be fruitfully, which will not come within proper harvest of your life. You realize how many people, why do you think you got, why do you think we have so many elders out there bitter and by themselves? Because they navigated through life and found a way to push everybody that wanted to mean well out of their lives. And what you're seeing is regret because the denial has eventually fallen off, but their mortality never slowed down. I mean, I'm gonna tell you what, family, my millennials, I know that those in your early 20s, and you think you got life figured out, but you don't, family. You don't. You're not gonna know who you are until you're blessed to see the age of 35. And as I've always said, if you're blessed to see the age of 35, the mentality you have at 35, which is your maturity and ownership of your life, will not reflect what you where you were when you were 25. And when you were 25 should not reflect what what you were doing when you were 15. Why you think we got so many people being incarcerated today? They don't take no ownership on their choices and decisions. And unfortunately, there's a percentage of folks that shouldn't be behind bars, and you got caught up. Excuse me. It's like your parents say, I'm gonna give you the whooping. You didn't do nothing wrong. He said, well, that was for the stuff you did that I didn't see you didn't get caught by. But the Most High sees all. And basically, your parent was the tool to correct you. Because it might be that one decision that you make that, okay, think of it this way. You notice how when you see people acting out of pocket, and until somebody proverbial corrects them, in their mind, they're going to think, well, if I did that, what else can I do? It's like when people, it's like when people are in relationships and the person steps out. If you don't correct the situation, it's deemed repeated because you're carrying You're conveying um, you're conveying a nonverbal message that, well, you did that, but there was no repercussions to that. Now let's flip it. Now, what if the same scenario had to do with your career? They keep telling you one thing, but what their words don't match their action. And if you turn around and condone it, guess what? Why would they have the need to change it? That's what I'm saying. But I thought about it. It dawned on me. I said, I realized, I said, that's why people tend to come back in your life uninvited. And they always are the first ones to have an attitude because you're not facilitating their perception of what you're supposed to do. Now, let's flip that again. Now, how can you expect somebody to respond emotionally in a certain manner when they don't have a clue who the hell they are and what they and how they navigate their own lives? It just work when it comes to relationships. There's a there is a minimum commitment that is prescribed before you embark on a journey to do so. And that's why you see some people, they'll get to a certain point, and then all of a sudden, on to the next thing. Well, when you put all this time in, why you want it? And they can't tell you. They can't tell you why they just said, I'm going to go on over there. That's why I always conveyed to you. I said, the people that are intended to be in your life will be revealed when you're made new. And then on the flip side of that, the sincerity will be measured the moment you ask them what your purpose is. Because if you don't know what your purpose is, how can you know where you're going? That's what I'm saying. So be prepared, family, because you got a lot of people out here that get off on making your life miserable because they have not owned their life to correct the misery that they have. That's why you might see that queen, and she thinks if she turns her voice up, people are gonna take her serious. But she gets the opposite effect because now they put it. Oh no, I'm not. I'm not dealing with you like, and they mute you out right off the bat. That's what they do. But anyway, long story short, family, you're gonna have to make a decision on what your life is. What do you envision your life to look like? And once you figure out what you envision it to be, then you need to sit down and decide how are you going to navigate through that. What is required for me to have a successful outcome, as well as acknowledge what you have to let go. Because trust and believe, family, there's a lot of people don't want you to be happy because they don't know what happiness looks like. And guess what? They'll be still doing the same thing they were doing the moment you met. But anyway, family, I felt that on my heart. And I don't want to be winded. Stop beating yourself up because they're not they're not doing what they need to do. They're actually showing you what you need, but it will not be reciprocated until you decide to claim your foundation and then navigate where you're headed by placing one foot down in front of the other and holding on to that said dream. And then the next thing you know, no matter if it's gridlock or not, you'll enter that challenge. You'll persevere through it, and next thing you know, you're on the other side. And that will represent insight because that experience will also show you by wisdom, so you don't deem to repeat it. But nonetheless, family, I'm trying to work on this. Like I said, Monday I would have fulfilled my obligation, and that'll be the very, very first time I will actually be able to drive around. So I can't wait. Can't wait. But in the interim, family, I hope you're well. Please remain placing your health first, and you know, do what's best not only for yourself but for your family because they deserve it, and it's that's something that has been, in so many words, branded into your spirit to see fulfilled. But anyway, family, loving each and every one of you. I hope you're well. You're on the backside of your week. Tomorrow's Friday. Well, yeah, one step closer. One step closer. But anyway, hope you guys are resting. Allow your mind to unwind and allow your body to flow. And watch what God shows you the longer you stay diligent to your faith. God's praying for you. You know I am. I see, I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. You better love yourself because the moment you decide to love yourself, all obstacles will give way. Be best, family. You're worth it.